Welcome to Two Idiots and a Dog, Idiots Unleashed.
Let me show you its features.
What features? There's two idiots and one dog. Also, you are not Jorg Sprav.
Sorry, Jorg Sprav.
Sorry. And sorry
Also
if we
sorry
mispronounced
Yeah, that.
Sorry if we mispronounced your name.
Full disclosure, I tried to look it up. I did. I promise you. Couldn't find anything for your full name. I apologize.
And if you don't know who that is, by the way, it's a YouTuber who does the Slingshot channel. Super entertaining. Highly recommended.
The things that man makes out of wood and rubber. Good God. Anyway, I'm Grim.
I'm not even sure who I am anymore. Who am I?
Definitely not Jorg Sprav.
Definitely not.
I think you might be a Zolgar.
Am I a Zolgar or am I a Kaiju?
Kaiju's around here somewhere.
Anyways, just a quick warning. This is an uncensored podcast, so you may hear adult language or other content not suitable for children, the workplace, church, or, honestly, human consumption at all.
Yeah. This week, our topic is prequels versus sequels, submitted by...
the perpetually banned Athen Mortis.
If you have an idea for a topic for us, you can let us know on our Discord or social media, but you can only vote in the topic poll on Discord, which we will be doing again soon, I promise.
Sounds fake.
Now stand back.
Because the idiots were unleashed a long time ago.
Please, somebody put us back in the box.
But not
Please?
in the closet. We do not belong in the closet. Nobody should live in a closet.
Under the stairs. And that's the only reference to that shit I'm gonna make.
Okay. So
I am firmly in the sequel camp. I find prequels to be trite and boring and
we mean Star Wars.
oh shit. Well, fuck that. No, prequels all the way. All right, I'm done here. Bye.
Get back here. We are not done.
God damn it. Always making me work. All right, jokes aside, both of them have their ups and downs.
Lots of downs on both, honestly.
Lots of downs. But they're also not complete steaming piles like most of the internet seems to think. There is good to be found in both. But the purpose of this episode is to compare and contrast. And some of this is going to be just straight up us shit bashing both of them. Let's be real here. But there are some good things that we're going to be bringing up.
And kind of one of the first things we should mention regarding this is one of the two is actually a trilogy. The other one, not so much.
Yeah, the sequel trilogy isn't.
The sequel trilogy is a trilogy that doesn't have a middle movie, and a middle movie without a trilogy.
Yeah, I've said this elsewhere, maybe even on the show previously, but one of the big things that seriously hurt the sequels was a complete lack of cohesive planning ahead of time. There was a lot of, let's call it directorial tug of war between Rian Johnson and Abrams. And all three movies really suffered for it.
Yeah, and kind of an aside regarding that, I would actually like to see a full Rian Johnson Star Wars trilogy, but not Skywalker Saga. His vision of Star Wars does not fit the Skywalker Saga.
Yeah, I would like to see what he can do in the greater universe there. Because, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I say, like, all three movies suffered for it, and everybody's like, well, the first one was pretty good by itself. Sure, but we got no payoff from it. None.
Yeah, and honestly, I wouldn't even be opposed to a J.J. Abrams Star Wars trilogy with one important caveat.
None of this fucking mystery box bullshit?
Exactly. The mystery box works when it's your own... Well, okay, sorry. The mystery box sort of works when it's your own property. But when it's a long-established property that has a lot of fans pulling this, oh, the fans guessed what I was going to do, so I have to change it, is bullshit, and it weakens the overall property.
Yeah, he tried to pull that crap on Star Trek, and I'm pretty sure the suit stepped in and went, dude, no, you're not changing it just because they guessed it. That apparently did not fucking happen here.
And of course, anything Star Trek, that's a topic for another time. If you'd like to hear us talk more about Star Trek, feel free to let us know, or go over to our Ko-fi and pay us to do it. Shameless plug.
Please pay us, please.
We'd like to eat something other than Taco Bell.
Not sponsored, although we could be.
Yeah, Taco Bell, call us.
Call me.
We'll sell our soul cheap.
So, all right. I think we should actually take a step back and let's actually go through it a little bit individually. So let's start with the prequels. And first, I want to cover some of the good.
Duel of the Fates.
The music. John, Mr. Williams, sir, you knocked it out of the park.
And that fight. That fight was just awesome.
Oh, that literally. Phantom Menace, you put it in, you watch that fight, you take it out again.
No, you put it in, you watch that fight.
Then you watch that fight again.
You watch that fight one more time, and then you take it out.
And then you take it out. It gave us some intriguing bits of lore on the big screen. So bear in mind, I'm going to be approaching these movies with just the movies. No books, no cartoons, none of the extra bells and whistles. I'm going to be approaching these movies, both prequel and sequel, based on the merits of themselves and references to the original trilogy. That's it. Because honestly, for the majority of people who consume media, that is what they know. They have not read the 47 billion books, whether it's EU or new canon.
Or even novelizations of the movies, which there are a few places where the novelization of the movie fixes one of my problems with the movie. I'll get into that in the sequel trilogy.
But most of us have not read those.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be bringing them into things. Just so everybody knows where I stand. Before anybody is like, actually, in the novel, I don't care about the novels. I never read them, and I probably never will.
I've read a few of the Star Wars books. I enjoy them, but also for the purpose of this discussion, we are just covering the theatrical released movies.
Yeah. So the prequels does do a few things actually kind of nice, though. It does, while still maintaining that black and white morality of a Skywalker entry, it does set up a little bit of the morally dubious background that a war brings. And then it does fucking nothing with it.
Oh, yeah. Especially because we get the Clone Wars, which, okay, the Clone Wars actually starts in the second one, but yeah, unfortunately, the first one especially, it doesn't really do much. The first movie could have not happened.
It could have been a 30-minute prologue at most.
It could have been a brief prologue in Attack of the Clones. And do we want to cover some of the problems with the first one?
Yes, we absolutely do. So Phantom Menace, first off, Phantom Menace gave us two really cool things. One of which we already mentioned, Duel of Fates. The other is pod racing. Pod racing is actually really cool conceptually.
I want a Fast and Furious style movie about pod racing because pod racing is awesome.
The way it was depicted and used in this movie was butts.
Oh, and pod racing is so complex and fast paced that humans can't do it, but this kid can because he's force sensitive.
Gag me with a spoon.
And then, of course, other problems with Phantom Menace. How many alien species do we see that are almost a checklist of racist caricatures?
Yes. The answer you're looking for here is yes.
I mean, Watto is
straight up an anti-Semitic caricature.
You take a list of anti-Semitic tropes and just go down the checklist, and Watto hits almost every single one of them.
And of course, the Trade Federation are just straight up scary Orientals, and I'm using that term specifically because that's what it's a caricature of.
Yeah, they are a caricature of the Asian races as an entirety. It's like they're not one specific one as far as I know. I could be wrong.
So, real quick, going to cut in here and just say that we at Two Idiots and a Dog would like to point out that the term Oriental and Orientalism, no, that's not real. Stop it. Stop it. I only used it here because that's what they are supposed to evoke. Do not subscribe to these terms. Do not subscribe to these beliefs. Stop it. Moving on.
Then, of course, there is everybody's favorite, Jar Jar Binks. Now, personally, I don't see Binks as too much of the black minstrel. I get where people are coming from when they say it, but as far as the egregiousness of it, I think he is not as bad as the other two mentioned. Still a problem, but it's...
Part of it is his overuse in general.
Oh God, yes.
I mean, the idea was to make a character that would appeal to younger and audiences, and so that you had something, you know, merchandising, baby, merchandising. Except pretty much all of us universally hated him. Period. Full stop.
Basically, the only people that liked him were people who were like under 10 years old when it came out.
And then they grew up and re-examined the film and went, you know what? No. So that's the first movie. And just a real quick aside here, I don't care how annoying you found the character. Jake Lloyd deserved better.
Oh yeah. The kid did not deserve the hate he got for that.
Like, honestly, no actor does. He was cast in a role, he took a job, he did the job.
If you have a problem with the character in the movie, honestly, keep it to your fucking self or take it to Twitter.
So we move on to the sequel, by which I mean Attack of the Clones, which, oh God. Really, George? Really? Attack of the Clones.
I think I'm a clone now. Don't sue us, Weird Al.
Please don't sue us, Weird Al. We love you. Also, we're broke. We have nothing. So, Weird Al, if you want to sponsor it, we'll sell our souls cheap. Hit us up. Duel of Fates over the podcast between Taco Bell and Weird Al.
I mean, if they're both offering us money, I'm taking Weird Al, even if he offers a hell of a lot less.
I mean, yeah. Fair. Oh, okay. So Attack of the Clones had a lot of problems. First is Hayden Christensen and Natalie Portman had no on-screen chemistry. None. And I'm not going to lay that at their feet. They're both good actors. I've seen them in other stuff.
Honestly, Hayden Christensen was terrible in Attack of the Clones. Again, he does not deserve the hate he gets, but he was terrible in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, everybody was terrible in Attack of the Clones except like 3 people. So a lot of the Attack on the Clones is just this really great cast, and most of them are giving the most mediocre performances of their life. And I don't know if it's because of horrible directing or poor writing or what, but I have seen these people in other movies, and they knocked it out of the park. And in this one, they were just kind of like, yeah, I'm here.
Well, I mean, you look at Temuera Morrison. He's great. And in Attack of the Clones...
We gave him, like, what, 4 lines in the whole damn movie? Criminally underutilized.
Yeah. The cast was solid. It's just...
A lot of them were kind of phoning it in, and you could tell. And I don't know if it's the directing or what.
Or honestly, the fact that, let's be honest, Attack of the Clones had a shitty script.
Oh, yeah. It's easily the weakest of the 3 prequels.
It is arguably one of the weakest of the Star Wars franchise as a whole.
One of, I'll give you. But there was some good stuff there. We got some... This is where we really started getting some of the dubious gray areas of war starting to come in. Starting, I say, because... So the conflict already happened, but it didn't go full war until the end of the movie. But we still got to see some of the dubious natures of it, the gray areas, the politicking. And while it was handled in the same ham-fisted fashion most of Star Wars is, it was still there. Utilized poorly, but there. We got to see just how dangerous Anakin was likely to become based on...
Isn't Attack of the Clones the one where he goes and just wipes out an entire village of sand people?
Yep, because they took his mom. And I'm not going to say they didn't have it coming, but that's not a thing your hero protagonist Jedi is supposed to be doing.
Well, and also, I mean, the raiders who took her may have had it coming, but all of them? Every single one in that village? Not so much. Now, one thing I want to give Attack of the Clones, honestly, is it did have some, for its time, really good visuals.
Yes.
I mean, what we see of Coruscant, a couple of the like really large scale battles.
The Colosseum, just damn.
Now, I am annoyed still, and to this, it's a lot more obvious now than it was back in 2002, the fact that there was not a single suit of clone trooper armor actually produced for Attack of the Clones. Not one single fucking suit. It was all CGI.
So, Revenge of the Sith, naturally the prequel trilogy hits its stride right as it ends.
Yeah, Revenge of the Sith,
strongest of the prequels, easily.
Still a lot of very weak acting in it because honestly the script was still not very good.
Weak acting and weak writing. I mean, Padme dying of a broken heart? What? If you haven't seen it, I am not exaggerating. The scene is literally pop the kids out, name them, and she goes, ugh.
And she died because she was sad.
Because her husband turned evil. Because the Jedi don't know what fucking therapy is, but that's a rant for another time. This is honestly the movie where Hayden shone. When he got to be just emotional and over the top, he chewed on some scenery in this one.
Yeah.
I mean, his entire fight with Obi-Wan, Ewan and Hayden both, they knocked that out of the park. Just the bitter anger and the heartbroken sadness.
It was amazing seeing that come back in the Obi-Wan series.
Oh yeah, some great callbacks in Obi-Wan to this fight. I'm actually glad that they brought Hayden back for Obi-Wan.
Yeah, the fact that they had him returning as Darth Vader and doing an incredible job of it.
So the big thing is there are a few areas of this film that have some issues. I'm going to be perfectly honest. The final little push that made Anakin Vader was so fucking weak. It's like, okay, we got to make him evil and we got to make him evil now. Okay, he's evil.
Yeah, it's like they set up the prequel trilogy as having Anakin more of an anti-hero than a villain. And they're like, oh, wait, we have to make him a villain now.
Yeah, like he goes from... So the scene where he turns is, of course, the confrontation between Mace and Palpatine. Right? And in that moment, he flips because he thinks Palpatine can help him save Padme. And he just straight up helps Palpatine murder a Jedi Master. Which is, okay, heat of the moment, passion, overruling common sense. And he does have that moment of, oh God, what did I just do, as soon as it's over. But you go almost straight from that, almost directly to the massacre at the Jedi Temple. Like, almost directly. And I'm just sitting there going, that was a fucking leap.
He was not at the point of being so evil to go murder a bunch of kids.
This escalated quickly. So we had a lot of elements of this that should have been more of a slow burn that got really rushed in like the last part of the film. Because like, oh, we got to hurry up and make him evil so that he can be Vader in the original series because we don't know how to pace a prequel. But overall, Revenge of the Sith is the strongest of the prequels and has some amazing saber fights.
I mean, fucking Grievous.
Oh, Grievous was amazing. Even the fall of Tyrannus was pretty good, and then they followed up immediately with crashing the ship into the city.
By the way, if you're not sure who Tyrannus is, Darth Tyrannus is Count Dooku. So there's one other thing, just a little nitpick I want to point out with the prequel trilogy. So many wasted awesome characters. Darth Maul, horribly underutilized, and up until late in the Clone Wars, not actually confirmed he survived. Dooku was kind of underutilized. He was in more of them than the rest, but he was still kind of...
He was in 2 and 3, and he was on screen for like, what, 5 minutes total?
Yeah.
It's Christopher fucking Lee. Let him chew the scenery.
Yeah. And especially after having seen Tales of the Jedi, his story is amazing. You know, of course, while they had to kill him, Qui-Gon was an amazing character and one of the few we ever see who understands the problems with the Jedi Order.
And instead of other people talking with him and listening to some of the things he has to say, he's kind of treated like this hippie pariah within the Order.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the kind of pariah where it's not like, we don't hate you, but dude, you're a little too hippy-dippy for us. Go sit at your own table over there.
Yeah, and it's often been pointed out that the place where the dark side truly won, the absolute place where the dark side won, was Darth Maul killing Qui-Gon. Because if Qui-Gon had survived
and taken Anakin under his wing, he would have gotten the fucking therapy he fucking needed. Sorry, again, that's a rant for another time.
Also, Mace Windu fucking survived. I refuse to believe that Mace Windu died like that. Sam Jackson does not die by being thrown out of a fucking window.
I mean, to be fair, it was a pretty epic defenestration.
It was, but still. Given the things we have seen people survive in Star Wars, I mean, I wasn't even positive Han Solo was dead.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So I do think we're going to see Mace Windu again. I hope we see Mace Windu again.
We do know he's gone by the end of the sequel trilogy. We know that much. That's kind of confirmed by something that happens in the...
But that might just be old age, because...
Yeah. So... Okay.
You know what? Can we talk about the TV shows instead of the sequel trilogy?
No, we have to talk about the sequel trilogy. It's the premise of the episode.
The sequel trilogy was stupid. Can we talk about the TV shows now?
Well, that's the episode. That's it for this week. No, I'm kidding. All right. So the sequel trilogy, which isn't. So first, we actually had a really strong opening with Force Awakens.
Yeah. The Force Awakens was a little too much of a rehash of A New Hope.
But we also needed to do that to regain the trust of the audience.
Yeah.
So that we could apparently cruelly dash it for the rest of the fucking trilogy.
Because unfortunately, one of the major problems that fans had with the prequel trilogy was, this isn't the Star Wars I expected. I wanted Star Wars. And then, of course, they did The Force Awakens, and where people are like, well, that's too much like A New Hope. I want something new.
Yeah, there is no winning. That is the first thing you need to understand. There is no winning if you are any kind of content creator, whether it's the professional big leagues like Star Wars or a tiny shithole crap fest like us. There is no winning. If you are a content creator, you lose. So just make what you want to make and make it as good as you can make it.
You know, of course, let's see. You know, there's the complaints that Rey is a Mary Sue. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Anakin and Luke Skywalker aren't?
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I have as a major complaint of The Force Awakens and as a kind of also the rest of the trilogy is the bait and switch with Finn.
Yeah, the overall treatment of Finn in this needs to fucking... For the first film, I think it worked. But then they screwed the fucking pooch with it completely because they were like, well, we're done with you now.
I mean, the bait and switch of them making us think that intentionally with the marketing, making us think that we were getting Finn as a Jedi, as a Force sensitive, that we're going to have this rogue stormtrooper turned Jedi who also happened to be black. And that gets thrown out. And then the second movie, he's just, well, we'll get in that in a little bit.
Yeah, I know exactly what you meant. My statement stands.
Oh, yeah. I also want to clarify for the audience, all three of you.
3? Shit, who's the third one? Wait, did I leave my fucking phone logged in again?
Probably.
All right. So, yeah, like I said, for the first movie, that works because it was actually a brilliant bit of, wait. Our new main Jedi protagonist is going to be a woman? Hell yes. All right. And then they really did Finn dirty.
Yeah.
Like, if they had made him still up there, still just as important as the original trio were in the first series, that, of course, being for the few people who haven't seen Star Wars by now, Luke, Leia, and Han, if they had kept their trio as relevant, Finn, Poe, Rey, holy shit, that would have worked. As he come and you could have still explored him coming to terms with, being a former stormtrooper and fighting in the rebellion and this, that, and everything else. And they just did fucking nothing with it. Instead, we sent him and his love interest ?
Well, that's the next movie. So we need to finish what we're talking about with Force Awakens first.
Okay, so Han Solo had to happen. Multiple reasons.
One, that was the only way they could get Harrison Ford to agree to it.
And 2, we needed to see just how far he'd gone. Because up until that point, like, he had done some fucked up shit.
By he, we mean Kylo Ren.
But it was mostly a fucking white boy throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
And then they pissed that away in the rest of the trilogy, too. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, you had this great metaphor right in front of you. I think that's it. I think that's the summation of my thoughts on the sequel trilogy. Wasted potential.
Oh, yeah. There's so much wasted potential in the sequel trilogy.
All the ingredients laid out before them, and they just threw half of them out and pissed on the rest.
Oh, and also the fact that in our initial previews of the sequel trilogy, and especially The Force Awakens, we see that one of our main characters is a stormtrooper. And here I was thinking we might actually get a little bit of a nod to the shades of gray and the fact that not every single person in the Empire is evil. The Empire as an organization was evil, but every single person in it was not. And instead, they went, you know what? People like the Empire. So let's take the Empire and make it more Nazi.
Without getting into the nitty-gritty of it, given a whole lot of real-world events going on all over the world, let's cool it with the Nazi bad guys for a while, shall we? I thought this was supposed to be escapism. Oops, was that getting just a little too on the nose? My bad.
Also, the problem is when we make Nazi bad guys, way too many people don't realize they're the bad guys anymore.
Fuck. All right, so speaking of underutilized, let's take a look at our evil trio, shall we? Kylo Ren, who in the first movie, oh my god, what a great fucking metaphor for the entitled, mediocre white man. Oh, beautiful. Chef's kiss. They piss it away almost immediately in the sequel, but the setup, right? I mean, the confrontation with Rey and Finn alone, that belongs to me. Who the fuck said that saber belongs to you? Nobody fucking told you that saber belonged to you. Nobody gave it to you. Nobody earmarked it for you. But he genuinely believes it's his. Damn if that's not a fucking metaphor for some of our own societal problems, which, by the way, brief tangent, the original trilogy was a commentary on Vietnam.
And the Empire was America.
So we already have a strong history of social commentary in Star Wars. This would have been a great fucking thing to build on, and we'll get to it, but they piss it away. Don't get used to this. They piss it away almost immediately. Okay, Phasma, criminally underutilized.
Phasma was as underutilized as Boba Fett in the original trilogy, except Boba Fett was a throwaway character. Boba Fett was a throwaway character people latched onto because he had a cool design. Captain Phasma was a major part of the marketing for this movie, and she was an awesome character who had a lot of potential.
And showed up in what, 10 minutes across all three movies?
Maybe a tiny bit more.
But not by much. She mostly just stood around in her shiny plated armor, looking all imposing and doing fuck all. Hux. Oh, Hux. Hux. Oh, what they did with Hux. Or more accurately, what they didn't do, which was use him in any meaningful fucking way.
I kind of liked the reveal that with Hux in the third one. Kind of.
Yeah, by then, absolutely. But everything between those 2 points, he was fucking underutilized as hell. I mean, we could have had basically the ginger version of Tarkin.
Yeah, they could have had the dynamic of Vader and Tarkin with Hux and Kylo Ren. But they didn't. They pissed it away.
They pissed it away. That is the theme of this episode. Pissing things away, because that's what they did. Like I said, my summation for the sequel trilogy. Wasted potential.
We're going to start sounding like Leo Getz from Lethal Weapon. They pissed it away in the drive-thru.
They pissed it away with the cell phones.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. So, like, the fact of the matter is, Force Awakens, in and of itself, is actually really good. It's self-contained by itself. It's really good, self-contained. Sets a lot of things up that we need. We get a little bit of the heartache as we lose Han. We've got 3 new protagonists, 3 new antagonists, plus they keep referencing, Grandmaster Snoke. Ooh.
Oh, God, don't get me started on Snoke.
So here we are in The Last Jedi. And this is where Zolgar kind of leaves the room for like the next 10, 15 minutes. So he's not just screaming incoherently the whole time.
Okay. So the thing with The Last Jedi, like I say, it's not a bad middle movie to a trilogy that doesn't exist. My only real annoyance with like thing that I'm just like, that is so fucking stupid, is the Mary Poppins fly still bothers me. Okay. One of the things that they made a huge mistake on, and I love it conceptually, but the payoff for it is just fucking not there, is Canto Bight, the casino planet. That whole sequence was honestly, it was a great part of the movie. I loved the showing of like the arms dealers profiting from the war, and I love showing those tidbits, especially to an idealist like Rose and the former child soldier of Finn, showing like the powers behind the war. I thought that was cool. It didn't fit very well in the Skywalker Saga, but I liked it.
And it effectively achieved fuck and all.
The whole Canto Bight scene accomplished nothing. All it did, the only thing it did at all, was put Finn and Rose on that Imperial ship. Or, here's the other thing you could call the Canto Bight sequence. A filler episode.
It was fucking padding, pure and simple. They used my boy Finn and new hotness Rose as filler.
Also, Rose's sister is more interesting than Rose.
They fucking used Finn and Rose as a beach episode.
Yeah, there are so many things that were just pissed away in this. And okay, another one that pisses me to shit off. Okay, the fact that how Akbar is killed, it's a throwaway that you barely even notice. He just happens to be on the ship that gets blown up, that Leia gets sucked out into space, and then Mary Poppins flies back. And it's like, that is not how you kill Admiral Akbar.
No, he should have been the one throwing the switch, not Holdo.
Yeah, the Holdo maneuver should have been the Akbar maneuver, at which point we would have had Holdo for the second movie, and we could have redeemed the character in the movies. She was actually a great character in the books.
Okay, so here's the thing, okay? I'm going to go off on a bit of tangent here because I brought this up before. God damn it, it's our podcast, and if I want to fucking talk about something, I'm going to fucking talk about something. All right? You have Akbar, push the fucking button. And what you do is you have him on Hollow with them, doing the whole fake surrender thing, right? Turning around, doing the fake surrender, whatever. And then at the last moment, he just looks at them and goes, there's just one more thing you need to know. Oh, really? And what's that? It's a trap. Push the button. Give us that fucking callback.
Or you have him hit the button and someone else on the ship go, it's a trap.
Just give us the fucking callback. It was right there. The whole fucking mutiny subplot was also equally mishandled and stupid.
Okay, so the mutiny sequence. I'm gonna let's take a Reddit here. You're both assholes. So Poe should not have mutinied.
But Holdo should have communicated. And she didn't need to communicate the plan. One of his questions, point blank, was, tell me there is a plan. And she just fucking doesn't answer him.
Yeah, he's just like, tell me there is hope. Tell me we're not just waiting to die. And she just stares at him. And I understand the fact that they're concerned that they've got a mole, that they're concerned that that if they say there's the plan, it might get out. But first of all, how could you think that the mole is fucking Poe Dameron?
Poe Dameron could have fucked your ass over 6 ways from Sunday 1 billion times by now.
And yes, Poe Dameron was too reckless. He was too impulsive. He did some really fucking stupid shit. But he was still loyal to a T. And it was obvious he was that loyal. And it was that loyalty, that love for the rebellion that made him mutiny. Because he was under the impression that they were just pissing away time, waiting for the Empire, for the First Order to catch them and kill them all. And you cannot tell me that if you were in that position and you had the kind of pull that Poe does, that if you thought, we're doing fuck all, we're doing nothing, I'm going to do something. You can't tell me you wouldn't do that.
Everyone sucks here.
Leia's response was absolutely the right response. Put the mutiny down and deal with it.
Yeah, and then deal with the situation. Yeah, God, there's so many other problems with The Last Jedi. I will say grumpy old man Luke was a treat. Just a wonderful, wonderful treat. Just, fucking loved it. Also kind of underutilized, though.
The closure of Luke.
That was spot on.
Yeah. I mean, that was so amazing and such a great callback to Obi-Wan's arc.
Yeah, it was him going out on his own terms and not being the hero of the rebellion. Those days are over for him. But still giving the rebellion the hope it needed in that moment and time for them to realize, oh, hey, no, there's Rey. Like, that was great. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. Fuck me, though. So much else just... Oh, don't forget, this is the one where we actually officially meet Snoke, and then he is immediately fucking murked.
Yeah.
Talk about underutilized.
I do like how Kylo Ren killed Snoke. That was brilliant.
That was cool. He kept his mind focused on what was going on while also kind of subtly nudging it a little at a time, and then snick, dead, done.
And, I mean, the fight following that, the fight with the guards was... I mean, that honestly up there, in my opinion, compares to Duel of the Fates. That fight scene was awesome.
It was cool, but there were some problems with it.
There were some problems with it, but it was great. And there also we really saw a great contrast between Kylo Ren and Rey, in that Rey was naturally gifted, but she was not trained, especially not in saber combat. Kylo Ren was trained. He let his emotions get the better of him sometimes.
Shit, he was trained by the motherfucker who took down Darth Vader.
That man was terrifying with a saber.
And then they immediately soured it with the whole lack of payoff regarding her parents. Because that conversation happens immediately after that fight scene when he's trying to recruit her. As he just looks at her and he's like, oh, you know that your parents don't matter. They never mattered. They were nobody. When that is not at all what was being set up. Granted, what we got was still also not what was being set up. We'll get there.
God, there are so many problems with The Last Jedi.
Yeah, it is easily the single weakest Star Wars movie in the main entry franchise.
Okay. Finn was underutilized. That's a given. But also, this is the movie where they gave Finn the chance at a heroic death, and on like a massive, basically single-handedly saving what was left of the rebellion kind of heroic death. And them killing Finn would have sucked. But this was set up, and it's one of his own allies, Rose Tycho, that stops him from doing it. And it's like, no, because I loved you, I saved you.
Nothing with Finn, no story beat with Finn after the first film is remotely satisfying.
Yeah, because, yes, it would have sucked to kill him, but God, that would have been an amazing end for this rogue stormtrooper to sacrifice his life to save the entire rebellion.
Also, he was the fucking comedy relief for the whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
Which you made your prominent black character the joke character? Really? Not a good look, guys.
Well, and then, they also made a bit of a joke out of Poe, because this is also the movie where the movie opens up with Poe making a "your mom" joke.
Pretty much. Like, everything is just fucking all this great setup, and they piss it all away. And then we finally get to Rise of Skywalker. Okay, this is it.
I want to say one positive thing about The Last Jedi first.
Make it fast.
Crystal foxes, they were so cute, I want one.
I mean, yeah, duh, who doesn't?
Otherwise, that movie was garbage.
Pretty much. Okay, Rise of Skywalker. I'm going to get the good out of the way because there is not a lot of it.
It ended?
Some of the saber fights were pretty cool.
Yeah, there were some good saber fights.
Some of the really unique ways they used first of all, I hated that there was this bond between Kylo and Rey, but some of the ways they utilized it in this movie were fucking cool.
Yeah, honestly, once again, this gets into non-movie material, but the understanding of a dyad in the Force makes it a little bit cooler, but yeah, that's non-movie material.
Non-movie material, and honestly, binding the two characters like that was fucking stupid to begin with.
Yeah.
All right. Poe Dameron is a drug dealer. Oh, fuck off. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, right. I forgot about the first one. So if any of you writers are listening and you ever need to feel better about your own writing, remember that a multi-billion-dollar franchise opened their capstone movie of their sequel trilogy with somehow Palpatine has returned.
And now I want to defend that just a tiny bit.
No.
The fact that this was what they were trying to do, and it was not even set up at all in the movie prior, you couldn't really just have, Palpatine's back without another hour to the goddamn movie.
Give us the fucking hour.
Well, yeah.
God. And this is what we mean by the directorial tug of war, by the way. This back and forth bullshit. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of other things here real quick. We're going to go down a shit tier list here. All right. Good. Force healing is back. Bad. We use it to heal the one guy in the fucking galaxy who should just be fucking murked. and that's it. That's the last of the good. All right, so we got whatever the fuck was going on with both Finn and Rose in this movie, because we'll never know because they were both on screen for like 5 minutes.
Let's see. How about the bait and switch of killing Chewbacca?
Bait and switch of killing Chewbacca.
Granted, a lot of people don't think there was a second ship previously. There was a second ship visible. I knew at the moment I saw the one that exploded that the Chewbacca was on the other ship, but a lot of people missed that little detail. But it was still a bait and switch because that's what they were trying to make you think happened.
They seriously forced Kylo Ren's finger quotes redemption, because I'm sorry, that was not a redemption. Fuck you. They were going for the parallel with Vader and they just fucked it.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the way Leia goes out is cool, but because it ultimately leads to an unsatisfying payoff, it feels wasted. And again, theme of the fucking, that's my summation of the entire sequel trilogy.
Oh no, there is one other good thing about Rise of Skywalker.
What's that?
We see the official fact that Leia was Force sensitive and she had been being trained.
Yes. And she made the choice to step off that path.
Yeah, she made the choice to step off that path because her powers were more precognitive than Luke's, and she saw what would happen if she stayed that path. And of course, the bittersweet of seeing Leia on screen again, because remember, Rise of Skywalker released after Carrie Fisher died.
And they actually had to use a double for some of her scenes to make it work. The final confrontation with Palpatine was It really wasn't that impressive. Some cool throwbacks with all the Jedi voices rising to answer Rey, which includes some notables, which by this point is a little bittersweet. That's where we get our confirmation Mace is gone, because his voice is one of the voices in the Force Echo.
Of course, isn't Ahsoka's?
Yes, there's your other bittersweet moment.
So here's the thing. Depending on what happens with some of the other things, maybe Ahsoka isn't dead yet. Maybe the strength of this draws not just the dead Jedi, but Jedi who are in hiding.
They're dead.
I refuse to accept that Ahsoka is dead.
They're
Ahsoka is such a bad...
By the time her mentor's son dies basically of old age, yeah, she's fucking dead, bro. Let it go.
No, she's not dead. Ahsoka is somebody that death will show up to and be like, "Oh, sorry, wrong number," and go fuck off. Because even death is afraid of Ahsoka Tano.
Listen, man, I'm as big of a Ahsoka fanboy as the next motherfucker, but come on, bro. Come on. Even the greats gotta go sometime.
Nope. Also, we don't know how long Togruta live.
Dude, she's gone. Just let it go.
I refuse to accept this. I reject your reality and substitute my own.
Can't hold it back anymore. So now that we've been shut down by Disney for quoting one of their songs.
The cold never bothered me anyways.
Bullshit! You're the one who keeps bitching about the fact that it's cold right now. All right. So finally, we have the shittiest part of this entire fucking movie. The kiss. How dare you fucking justify one of the most toxic fandom ships ever, you fucking assholes.
But it wasn't a romantic kiss.
Bullshit! They were tonguing each other. Fuck off out of here justifying and romanticizing abusive toxic relationships. Get that shit the fuck out of my media.
If it weren't a romantic kiss, it would not have been a prolonged kiss on the lips. It would have been like a kiss on the cheek, just that slight.
They would have hugged, maybe a little intimately, kissed each other in the cheek, and then he can die.
It would have been closer to the end of Rogue One, where the two characters are there together, knowing it's the end.
And it's still this very close, intimate moment, but it could have just as easily been very platonic. No, this was romantic. The kiss was romantic. fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And everybody's sitting there going, well, you just hate, the Reylo ship. Yes, I do fucking hate the Reylo ship because it's toxic, abusive fucking wankery. He tortured her. You don't get to date somebody after you torture them.
The only way that ship would work is if Kylo Ren had survived past this movie, which he shouldn't have, and it was decades of regrowing the trust that was broken there. Because yes, he tortured her. He tried to kill her. He tried to kill her friends. Kylo Ren was a monster. And yes, a monster can be redeemed. And yes, maybe something could have come of that, but not, oh, well, this was 5 minutes ago, so it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
However, there is one other thing I want to mention about Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so we remember in The Last Jedi, Rey is told her parents were nothing, were nobody. She was nobody. And then we find out that that's not actually entirely true, which, to be fair, what was said in the movie was specifically Kylo Ren trying to goad her into giving up any hope she had. But we find out that she is the daughter of a clone of Palpatine. What a way to bring cloning in that, you're just going to casually go, oh yeah, by the way, we do cloning, and Palpatine cloned himself, and
then we turn around and we look around and we do see a little built on that in the final moments with Palpatine, because you go through a cloning lab. Apparently Snoke was a failed Palpatine clone or something that he was puppeting. I don't know. Again, none of this makes any fucking sense at this point. But up until then, not a hint of it. Not a whisper.
Yeah. It's like there are a lot of elements of the sequel trilogy that they took ideas out of the expanded universe and they used them with no fucking build up.
I want to touch on, I want to close. We've been yammering for a while, but I do want to bring up one fucking thing regarding Rey and her parentage, and it is what I think is the single greatest fucking crime against Star Wars that they have done. Based on, this is going to step outside of the movies just a little bit, so bear with me on this, okay? But there are some sources, video games, etc., where some of what they had planned for Rey originally was kind of, sort of leaked, kind of, sort of spoiled, but not really. And one of those had her full name listed as Rey Kenobi. And we all know there's basically only one person in the entire universe that could possibly have produced a child from Kenobi. And yes, there's timeline problems with that, but it's a sci-fi universe. You can always overcome those. Which means we were denied the version of the Star Wars conclusion where it was potentially revealed
that Obi-Wan actually let himself truly love.
And do you recall who his one love was?
I don't remember her name, but she was the one of the heads of Mandalore.
Yep. That's right. We were denied a Rey that was, one, a Kenobi, and two, carried Mandalorian blood. Fuck you for taking that away from us. That would have been amazing.
But the fans guessed that she was a Kenobi, so she can't be a Kenobi.
Swear to God, if I ever meet J.J. Abrams, I don't even care. I'm punching him in the dick and I'm doing the jail time with a smile. For legal reasons, that was hyperbole.
Or was it?
For legal reasons, that was hyperbole.
You might think by us saying all of this that we hate the prequel and or sequel trilogy. And we don't.
Not really.
They're still fun movies. There is good to them. There is entertainment to be had in them. But they are very flawed movies. And just to reiterate for a moment here, if you, as a fan of Star Wars, see a Star Wars property and you don't like how a character is portrayed or how a character acts, don't take it out on the actor or actress playing that character, you fucking wankers.
I have a better idea. I'm going to revise that statement for you, if that's all right with you. If you have a problem with a character or something that happens in the Star Wars franchise as a whole, and you're very disgruntled about it and upset, shut the fuck up!
No, you can talk about it on social media. I am happy to engage if you have problems with how a character is developed. As long as you're not hating the actor or actress who played that character because you don't like the character. You do not abuse an actor into getting rid of their social media because you don't like the character they played.
The problem is they don't just talk about it. They harass the writers, the actors, the producers, the directors. So shut the fuck up about it. Leave people the fuck alone.
At very least, don't fucking harass the people who worked on the movie. You fucking wankers.
Stop fucking it up for the rest of us!
You entitled little bitches. That's it for this week.
If you like what we do, please give us a like, follow, rating, all that nonsense in your favorite podcatcher.
You can also support us on Patreon for special bonus content and episodes a week early, or tip us on Ko-fi. You can find those and our social media platforms and Discord server all in the show notes.
Also, be sure to give our friends some love, whoever the fuck I decide to plug in this week.
I'm trying to get us some new promos.
It's fine. Nobody loves us anymore. I understand.
It's time to feel the rage. Join us on Film Rage, where we talk movies, current releases, coming attractions, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim.
Hey, hey.
And Murray.
Yo.
Why is it you always talk all the time? I can't understand why your voice is so...
This is the Merman, the voice of reason. These two can't agree on anything most of the time. Some movies are Mondo, some are just... Every week, something is going to make us rage. Join us every Wednesday and
feel the rage.
Last, but certainly not least, we'd like to give a quick shout out to all of our supporters on Patreon and Ko-fi, especially these idiots.
Oh my god, some people do love us. Okay, Rain, Random Warrior, and the perpetually banned Athen Mortis. Yay, we're loved!
You know what you did.